And welcome back. Our guest tonight is Mark Katch. You guys may recall he joined us a few weeks ago to talk about student kidnappings and subsequent deaths following a demonstration outside of a mayoral event. And he told us at the time that these type of things happen all too often, but it's just recently that they garnered international media attention. So we're going to ask him if he thinks the new revelation about these things to the masses is going to spur any type of real social or political change. And welcome back to the show, Mark.
Thank you, Jakari. Great to be here.
All right, so from the last time you were here, you had a chance to speak with Leanne, talking about the students, the mayor, and all the conflict there. Have there been any new developments since you last spoke with us?
Yes, in fact, there's been a lot of developments. What has happened in the interim is that the government has basically woken up and taken control of the narrative, starting back on November 18th when the president, Enrique Peña Nieto, made a speech basically saying that there were forces in the country out to destabilize the country through these protests. And lo and behold, a few days later, on November 20th, there was a massive protest march, and 11 people were arrested during that protest march and charged with things like terrorism and insurrection. In fact, these people were just innocent bystanders, and they were scooped up after the march was, or as the march was winding down. In fact, one of them was a Chilean PhD student who I actually met and was part of a group of friends of mine, and his experience basically says it all about what was happening there. And in the classic problem, reaction, solution, the government, after the president had a phone call with Obama, the next day he announced a 10-point security plan, which basically ramps up the police state and centralizes power in the hands of the federal government. Now, this plan hasn't been approved yet, but it's on a fast track. And two of the salient points are the disappearance of 1,800 municipal police forces to create 32 state police forces. They call this the mando único. And then another provision, which is very controversial, would be the federal government's ability to dissolve municipal governments upon suspected infiltration by the narcos. It's a very nebulous and very ill-defined proposal. So we'll see what develops, but definitely a ramping up of the police state in the classic, never let a good crisis go to waste.
Exactly, Rahm Emanuel. Now, you mentioned President Obama there, and I'm sure you know just as I do, under the Obama administration, we had Operation Fast and Furious that fed guns into Mexico, into the hands of these cartel members. So do you really expect anything positive to happen from this new ramping up that they plan to do down in Mexico?
No, in fact, nobody really does. These plans are actually part, Fast and Furious, et cetera. These are all part of the sort of NAFTA security state mentality that came about post 9/11, where the U.S. government basically views the NAFTA region as its security, as the security area that it needs to secure. So a lot of these developments in Mexico have to do with the militarization of the police, the institution of Homeland Security type operations here in Mexico to fulfill these obligations, as was the Plan Merida or Plan Mexico, which was the ramping up of the drug war during the last administration. The direct results are what we're seeing today with this case of the 43 missing students.
Exactly, and we're talking about several missing people. You alluded to this last time when you had a chance to speak to Leanne, and now I have the article in front of me. This stunning map shows tens of thousands of people have disappeared in Mexico since 2007. And in this article, they point out a graph done by The Telegraph, and they say that 22,000 people have seemingly disappeared since 2007. Why are those numbers so high, and why do they continue to climb to to an even higher level each year?
Well, these numbers are perhaps low, unfortunately.
Wow, you think that's a low estimate?
It could be, there are different statistics from different places, but actually, those are just the disappeared, not the people who have been actually killed, which is a much higher number. And as I mentioned to Leanne the last time, this incident, in Ayotzinapa with the 43 missing students is unfortunately nothing new. And that map shows how that is so. There's been so many cases of disappeared people. For example, there was a report by French television that in July of this year, another 31 students were disappeared from right next door to Iguala in a place called Cocutla, where the supposed garbage dump is, where the students were burned. Now, this report has been disputed, but it's just representative of what goes on here, unfortunately, on an almost daily basis.
Right. And Mark, our time is short, so I'll ask you this final question. What has been the response of the people in Mexico? Because we've seen recently here in the States responses to the things that happened with Mike Brown, with Eric Gardner. Do you think the situation that happened in Mexico, has that gotten any more than usual media or just general population attention?
Oh, of course. This is part of a social protest movement that has been going on for a long time. Now, as you know, this isn't, unfortunately, an incident that's unfamiliar to people, but it got a lot of international attention. And now there's actually been some hookup between the Ferguson situation and the Ayotzinapa situation. There's been some contact between activists. So really, this incident has galvanized the people. Now, as to whether this will produce any positive change, I highly doubt that. Unfortunately, the government now seems firmly in control of the narrative. They really want to put this case to rest. They're managing things to do that. So I don't think that we're going to see any type of Mexican Spring here, as has been, suggested in different media sources.
All right, Mark Katz, I definitely appreciate your time. Tell our viewers how they can keep up with your work.
They can go to my news site. It's called chingoin.com. It's actually a cryptocurrency project that I'm working on for Mexico, so they can go there and they can see what I'm up to here.
All right, thank you for your time, Mark.
Thank you, Jakari.
And that's it for our show, but be sure to stop by prisonplanet.tv and get yourself a 15-day free trial. Now, for a limited time, you can get a full-year membership for $29.95. It's our holiday special. It gives you groundbreaking, hard-hitting content. I'm Jakari Jackson from the InfoWars Command Center, and we'll see you again tomorrow night.
I began to get into iodine a few years ago because it was helping me and my family so much get healthy and detoxify. I believe our research is conclusive. This is the best iodine out there. And I know this for a fact. Nobody else has got iodine based on these pure crystals, ladies and gentlemen. For a limited time, experience the ancient power of Survival Shield X2. Take advantage of this unprecedented 30% off Super Detox Special at InfoWarsLife.com.
You are watching the InfoWars Nightly News, which airs 7 p.m. Central at InfoWarsNews.com. Members can share their passcodes with up to 11 other people, and your support is helping us defend liberty worldwide.